Very well. In this talk, I want to present you the results of the Puerto Rico project that was found by the Pr-Nthmp. So we received a project for GR land, and I want to present you the result here. In that figure, you can see all the people that participate in the project. Of course, there are many more people, including students and more technical staff in the university. Next, please. This is the mission of the Pr-Nthmp. I took that from the webpage, so most of you are familiar with that. And the TsunamiReady mission, of course. Next, please. For those of you that are not familiar with the problem that actually we have in the Caribbean, this figure is very standard. Puerto Rico is right here. So we have a lot of events with magnitude greater than 7, especially those ones with the orange background here are the ones that generate tsunami, especially that one and that one generate major disaster and major problems in Puerto Rico. That's the main reason why we are still working very hard with the tsunami problem in the region. Next, please. Here, I guess that you cannot see that clearly, but this is a summary of the problems in western Puerto Rico due to the Monte Canyon event magnitude, not as greater as the Japan or Indonesia, but a magnitude 7.4. But in conclusion, more than 100 people was dead that time. Another event was this one here, that one in the Virgin Islands. So the message in this figure is that the major threat for Puerto Rico came from local events, especially that one, no more than 5 minutes after the event, the ETAs hit the island. Next, please. That numbers are not clear again, but it's a summary of the people that have been killed by tsunamis in the Caribbean. And essentially, we have, according to researchers and other people, more than 3,000 people that due to tsunamis in the Caribbean region. Next, please. And here is another summary. I'm not sure if the numbers from other states are quite updated, but here in Puerto Rico, you can see here that the total number of people exposed to tsunami due to local source is too high. So essentially, 10% of the entire population of the island is in some kind of risk. Next, please. Here is a summary of the project. It's a Puerto Rico component of the Pr-Nthmp. It's a very comprehensive diagram. Essentially, there were more than 8 objectives. So I'm going to navigate in each of those items. Next, please. First, let me start with the modeling. Next. Here is a very comprehensive summary about the scenario that we use, but especially the bathymetry and topography data that we use. Here is a set of triangular elements using the self code, and here is a triangular element using the MOS code. And here you can see the different scenarios that we use, essentially more than 500 scenarios all around Puerto Rico, including the Caribbean region. Here you can see some sort from different researchers, especially the Pr-Nthmp from UAGS. There were 2 long-distance sources, one from Lisbon, another one from the North Atlantic, but it's not included in the figure because not much space. So the result of this effort was this figure. This is the so-called inundation map. This is a compilation of all the scenarios that we use in the island. It's the so-called the maximum of maximums. That map was used then to compile the evacuation map. Unfortunately, you cannot see this figure very clearly, but I include here some landslide scenarios. Essentially, this is Puerto Rico, and we have 3 amphitheaters, 2 to the north and 1 here to the southwest. And essentially, you probably can infer that the trenches here, north of Puerto Rico, are very deep. So essentially here or somewhere, the depth of the ocean, the Atlantic Ocean, is more than 8 kilometers. So essentially, we are exposed to some kind of landslides with terrible consequences. Next, please. Let's talk now about evacuation maps. Go. With the inundation map, then we use that as a base for the evacuation maps. Here is an example. This is Mayaguez. The University of Puerto Rico is right here in Mayaguez. And essentially, that map was compiled using the Nthmp standards. That standards are very useful because people must understand very clearly this kind of maps. Essentially, the message here is very simple. If you receive any alert, natural or official alert, then move from the yellow to the green. So that's all. And here is a summary of the status, actually, of the TsunamiReady program in Puerto Rico. All the 44 coastal communities were recognized as TsunamiReady. Now we are working with the renovation process. Next, please. And what about the education and outreach? And essentially, in our case, as you know, the problem is very local. So essentially, of course, we have a very robust technological program, networks, and we receive very timely information from the warning centers. But essentially, due to the lack of time, the people must be very educated. They must know what to do just in case. Here is an example of an open house, and here is a summary of the people impacted directly from the program, Tsunami. And here, as you can see, it's an example of an open house. Many people was impacted directly. Not only in conferences, but in the schools, in churches, visiting the communities, etc. Next, please. Another very important part of the program was the Tsunami Decision Support Tool. That is next, please. This is a GIS tool, and essentially the idea behind this program is just to provide the program managers a tool to review the maps, review the evacuation routes, and review the material that we generate under this program. That here is the site where you can visit, and all the information that we produce, that we generate, is here in this tool. So the idea is just to provide something to the managers and the communities to have, to take some kind of decision. Of course, no in a real emergency, because people have no time just previous to that. Next, please. The Tsunami Media Kit is another very important result, because for us it's very important that all newspapers, media, really interpreted the information that Paul Whitmore provided to us, and how they can then transmit that information to the people. So probably you know that in most media just change the information quite a bit. So that is why it's important that they must understand very clearly the information they receive from the warning centers. And we, sorry, that is in Spanish, but the idea of this tool is just have three components. One is digital, it's a web page. Another one is an app for smartphones. Another one is hard copy. So we distribute, and of course we provide workshops for the news. Next, please. Very important. What about kids? So that's the reason why we then spend some time developing the Tsunami curriculum. We have a lot of material for kids, depending the level of the scholarity. So, and including a manual for teachers too. So that material is available and was approved. That's very important, because the Department of Education of the island approved that material. And actually we are training the professors and teachers just to use that material. Another very important part was the vertical evacuation. We translate the FEMA guidelines, and unfortunately we had no money to construct vertical evacuation things, but ideas are there, and we are waiting for some kind of support, funds. Next, please. Next. That's an example of the Tsunami curricula webpage. That's in Spanish again, because the clients, of course, are the professors of Puerto Rico. Next, please. That's the official picture of the vertical evacuation workshop years ago, in 2012. Important part of the program was that communities, towns, municipalities were required to have methods and tools to receive and disseminate the information from the warning centers. That's why we spend a lot of effort and money installing NWIN systems to the communities. That is important because they must know if something happens and how then to deal with that kind of things. Next, please. This is a summary. So in total, we installed 45 NWIN systems and 600 NOAA radios. So emergency managers are required to have a complete inventory of these things, especially the NOAA radios. That's not easy. Sometimes in the school, for instance, they took that radio and put that in a desk, or disconnect from the plug. But essentially, the idea is that in most schools or public things, people have the NOAA radio because that is very important because it's the media where they receive the information from the warning centers. In addition, we develop some kind of software. This is a software that we developed in the Puerto Rico Seismic Network just to receive data from different sources, especially the NTWC, and we use our own methods to disseminate that information. That in support to NTWC. Next, please. Of course, as part of the program, we participate in the monthly test with the NTWC, some surveys because we need to know if the information is okay, what the people really need. So we discuss, not very often, but essentially 1 or 2 times per year with the emergency manager just to know the inquiries and what they need. Of course, it's important just to realize how the program is moving, what is the metric of those things, and the protocols. That is very important. Next, please. So this is the protocol in place for earthquakes and tsunamis in Puerto Rico and Virgin Islands. So it seems to be very simple, but to negotiate with the agencies is not easy, really. But actually, we test that protocol 2 times per year. One during the Lantex, another one during the shakeout in October. Next, please. And about the TsunamiReady. With TsunamiReady, that is, I guess, the most important part of the program, municipalities or communities are required to have response plans. Of course, we spend a lot of money and effort installing the signage. Unfortunately, some signs learn to walk and disappear. But we are trying to reinstall that as part of the renewal process. We are providing, again, to the community new signs. Again, I think that people need education. I don't know why they need a tsunami sign in the room or in the bedroom. But people need to know why is the reason of that signage and why is that important. In terms of infrastructure, of course, the communities have the method to receive and disseminate information. Training, that's very important. In our case, the government change people very often, especially the emergency managers. It's very often that they change people 1 or 2 times per year. So as part of the program, we need to train that guys. And sirens, right now in Puerto Rico, there are more than 60 sirens installed around the island that the sirens are used just as a support of the program, just in case. Okay, next. So this is the status of the TsunamiReady program. As I mentioned, 44 coastal communities were recognized as TsunamiReady. There are 2 more that are not coastal, but probably could be affected by tsunami, so need to be TsunamiReady, of course. And of course, the Virgin Islands are TsunamiReady too. So here in the U.S. territories in the Caribbean, we are moving and we are working thanks to the Mitigation program. Next, please. As a summary, here is Puerto Rico. This is actual Puerto Rico, and that happens in 1918. That's not other country. That's part of the U.S., right? It was after the magnitude 7.4. So we are approaching to the 100 years. So we receive a lot of tourist visitors, Probably the same amount of people that we have in the island, 3.5 million, we receive some similar as visitors and tourists. And you know, here is Isla Verde. Isla Verde is one of the most popular beaches in the island. So during a Holy Week or weekend, many people visit these places. So, and the Puerto Rico Trench is quite to the north. So that's why we need to teach that people how to deal with tsunamis. And of course, the infrastructure. For some reason, most of the infrastructure of the island, including the power generators, are located in the shore, close to the shorelines. So, okay, so I guess that's it. Thank you very much.